Okay, thank you for watching. So, I'm not going to get into too many intros here. I just want to get into um, some examples. As I was going about my day, doing my routine rituals, cleaning, self-care, facials, laundry, all of the various things that I typically do on a Sunday. I did a little spiritual bath, did a few things. And it was on my mind. I thought about the live. Earlier I was on for about an hour and a half, and the sound was off. And I came back on and I said that, I'll be coming on again to really get into it because it must be important. So as I've gone about my day, there's some things that came to mind in terms of examples that I can provide. And the reason why I say this ever so often, I like to provide examples because it helps when you or someone is trying to unravel what the hell is going on in their life. It's one thing to get a bunch of knowledge and stats, statistics, factoids, definitions. That's one thing. It's another thing to try to make sense of it all as it pertains to you're trying to evaluate for yourself what you're dealing with. Okay, we don't have a therapist in our back pocket, and even if we did, okay, it wouldn't really be serving us well because you're the one living out your life. They have a limited amount of information, and it's going to be coming from a one-sided perspective. So at the end of the day, it is up to us to kind of figure all of that out. So I'm glad that it took me some time as I went about my day today, and then the examples that I'm to share came to mind, okay, to help bring practicality. What are you looking at? When we talk about emotional intelligence, self-awareness being a must. So a memory came to my mind, okay? Because remember, a lot of this stuff is not cut and dry. It's not cookie cut. It's just not. Especially the more covert, and we're talking emotional, so it's not outward except for verbal, but usually that's not going to be around everybody. Okay? So let me get into the example, the emotional intelligence, the memory that came to my mind. This is back in maybe 2017. I was in an apartment, okay apartment in North Las Vegas, Nevada. And, the craziness had already started, but I definitely hadn't figured it out yet. I was not even fully, I hadn't hit the real awakening yet. It was starting. So, the troubles were happening. I was working. Let me see. Was I still working? I could have either been working or just like not working or something like that. I was working at a mental health facility. Yep. I actually worked in mental health. And yep, surprise. Anywho, I was an administrator there, one of the administrators. And so I think I had left. Something had happened. I'm trying to remember, but neither here nor there. I got to get to the example because that's not even what came to mind. The example that came to mind is what I need to share pertaining to how we're evaluating emotional intelligence and self-awareness. And if that's not there in up close and personal relationships, it's a problem, a big one. But sometimes some of the more subtle, not so threatening signs are usually there. Okay, it's never just one big pow, pang, boom. It's collective, it's a collectoid amount of small stuff mixed with big stuff. Okay, but the small stuff being overlooked. Okay, being brushed off. So, like I said, let me get to it. That's where I was. I was having challenges, but I was doing what I've always done, which is you figure your way out. You try, you do what you can do. You know, everything that you can do, you seek. I was never too proud. That's not my MO. It's actually more of the karmic MO. Okay, I'm not too proud to, you know, seek out assistance and so forth. You know, yada yada. So this is before the man that, you know, I called dad, father, before, you know, he passed. I want to say this year. So this was way 2017. Okay. And I was still at that point, I was still in contact with him. So I had reached out to him. We were chatting. And I was trying to, you know, get myself, you know, handle some shit, you know, whatever it was. And you know, since I was on an organized religious path at that point, I had already started like wanting to be like a better person anyway. So I went about things the best I could, as integral as I could. So I was talking to him. I said, hey, you know, do you mind how, I asked him, I said, how's your credit? Do you mind? I'm trying to get some new cell phones. Better reception, better this, better that, cheaper, better deal or some shit. And he said, well, he said, it may be, you know, it's okay. He said, but I don't mind trying, and we can try. So he and I did this together because it was something that was happening. So he had to be on the phone. Like essentially he had to go through the whole process because, you know, they wanted to make sure that, you know, because people be fraud and old folk, you know what I'm saying? So they needed to make sure it's like, is this yada yada yada. So, and he did. I mean, he okayed it. I wasn't being shisty, shady, and just assuming like just cause I can just use woody woo. Again, that's more of a karmic energy. So now he did, and it all worked out. Okay. And they shipped the phones. The phone, I think, was just one phone. I didn't get multiple. They shipped the phone, and I was like, yay, you know, wooty woo. And at that time, I was still in communication with other family members. Okay, namely the eldest, well, the one that I called eldest sister. Okay, so here and there, I think she called. I don't know how she found out. I don't know if it was something that came out in conversation. This is a long time ago. And so she called and was like, hey, you know, she knew that our dad had, you know, got a phone for me or something like that. And she called and was like, hey, what's dad asking me? I remember this. What's dad's social security or something like that? She was like, he already said that I could try to, I'm trying to get a loan or something. Mind you, see, this is the stuff that a lot of people don't know. Mind you, this is the person that had gotten established in Vegas with, you know, all of these connects and yada yada, and, you know, big shot, right? So why would she be calling me asking about our dad's social security number? That's another video though, because see, I'm trying to get the world to start looking at all these little small things that nobody seems to catch. Okay? So she said, I'm trying to get a loan. I'll give you a little something. I didn't ask, but this is all the stuff she's saying. I'm trying to get along, and he said that he'll co-sign, or I can use da 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 da. He already said that, and at that time I remember squinching my face, but remember I hadn't yet really I hadn't processed all this shit. It was still like, what the hell? Okay. I did squinch my face because maybe there was an inner knowing, like, okay, if he already said that, couldn't he have given you his social security number? Like the stuff that we later look at is like, okay, people get fast talking you. Okay. Now if he did, that's fine, because it's not a matter of, he obviously did it with me. He went through the whole process. So it wasn't a matter of me thinking that he didn't. It's just, well, you spoke with him apparently for him to get that far, for him to say, you mean to tell me he couldn't give you his social security number in that same breath or in that same conversation? Okay. So I was like, oh, okay. I said, really? Are you sure? She was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, blah, blah, blah. I'm going somewhere. You just got to follow me. Okay. I'm using this. This was a smaller example because it's not always about the big or the extreme shit. Sometimes the little things are already pointing at certain things. Emotional intelligence, self-awareness. She's older. Had connects, had been established in Vegas since 2006. Had connections, knew people. Okay. Why would she be calling me? Her younger sister, who apparently didn't have shit, new to Vegas, did not have connects, nor in her industry or making any of that type of so-called money. Why? See, that you got to put a pin in that. What is it about really? When there's a lack of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, it also manifests itself in immaturity. I got to have what you have. I have to have access to what you have access to. I have to get what you get. It doesn't matter that I have this. There's a need. There is a need. I got all these connects, but I need to call you. I need to call you, and I need the energy of, I got to have what you have. If someone helps you, I got to get that same help from them. There's a lack of emotional regulation, of self-awareness and intelligence. Which manifests as unnecessary over-competitiveness, or just, again, wanting what you have, even if they have, like the kid with the toy and the toy chest, and that whole little scenario, it's the same thing. You're a person with all this affluence. You're a person with all of these cool connections. You're a person making, close to 6 figures. You're a person who, with other siblings, you spellcast them to. So what is that? That was just one, listen to me, that's only one example of many things that took place. Many little things that would cause me over time to squinch my face. Like, what is that? What is that about? I told you all before. See, and these are all the behind the scene things. And you know why I share these things? Because that's the way it goes in real life for people. That's how you're not going to be in a classroom setting. This is not going to be in a lecture or lab. You're not going to have some kind of therapist in your back pocket for this is how the stuff manifests behind the scene. It's never going to be manifesting in front of anybody that they're concerned about how they're going to look. Back in 2018, and I had just started dating this guy that I had met online and social media in a Christian group online. Okay. And we started dating, and again, I was on the organized religious path, and so we were trying, I don't know what we call ourselves doing. So we would pray together on the phone, we would do Bible study, and we we went to church a few times together. And and I was staying at her house, and so he would come there to pick me up, and we would go out on our dates. He would come there to pick me up, and we would go to church. And I remember it was one Sunday morning, and typically they do the football thing. Okay, the football, depending on what sports season it is, but that's what they do with the early morning. Okay, and so me and the guy that I was dating at the time was getting ready to go to church, and I got up and got dressed. I remember this, okay, and I was just chit-chatting, just being me, doing me, being me, and I was saying something. I was gathering all my stuff. I think I got my tablet, and I was trying to do something on it, and I was talking out loud. I was like, man, I'm gonna get me a I think I said I'm gonna get me either iPad or a Microsoft Surface Pro, something shit like that. And just, this is run of the mill. This is nothing special. And she kept, like, whatever I would say, she would then turn around and say, yeah, me too. I want to get that too. I'm gonna get that too. I want that too. Mind you, these are small things. You're usually going to brush that off. You're not going to make a big deal of it. We have a tendency just to we've been conditioned just to go, oh, that's just somebody's personality. That's just how they are. But what if it's the indications and the signs to help us to understand, like, this person is lacking self-awareness and they're lacking emotional maturity and intelligence here, because for whatever reason they feel like they're in some kind of competition with you or some kind of comparison. Like, that's not what this is. Like, what are your own interests? You don't have your own. What is this regurgitating of everything that I say I want? That's also an indication. If you feel like you're dealing with somebody, it's like they're trying to regurgitate, copy and paste everything. It's like, it's one thing to share an interest and to be inspired. It's another thing to literally be trying to copy and paste someone else's whole shit. Okay, this is the same person who, I believe my first great nephew was the little boy that I love. I think he was about to turn 1. Because, yeah, he was little still with his fro. And and I think they were trying to have a party or something like that. You know, most, birthday parties, 1 year old, blah, 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 blah. And I was tired, this is another different day. I went on a date with the guy that I was dating, okay, the previous night at the time, okay. And I was tired because I don't think I didn't get back to like wee hour in the morning or something like that. I was tired. And then we would be on the phone all night because it was like one of them love bombing situations. It was it was one of those, okay. So I just couldn't. I didn't have it in me to get up and get ready and to, to go. I just did not have it in me. I was like, oh, I'm so tired. I'm sorry, blah, I'll make it up to him. Or, I said something like that. I'll get him something and something because I just didn't have it in me. But their response was a sad face, pouty face emoji. It was no empathy, no understanding, none of that. Mind you, he's 1 year old. On top of these people never, they never supported anything to do with me or my son. They never showed up for nothing. Okay, I'm just gonna have to say it, gotta call it. Always excuse of busy and work and so forth, but make plenty of time to do all of the other things that they needed to do for them and their people when they needed to. Okay? So since we're talking about emotional intelligence and maturity, these are some of the signs, the early signs that exampleship, that you might be dealing with somebody who lacks that, the self-awareness and the maturation. Because if you're communicating to a person, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and it's not something that, like I said, he was 1 year old. Okay. And you go, oh, I am so exhausted, I'm so sorry, but I can and we'll make it up, blah, 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 say. And that person, their response isn't, oh, okay, I understand. You have a life. You have a life outside of me and what I'm on. Just like I do what I do, I fuck who I fuck, I go where I go, I do this and I do that. Likewise, you have a life too. Okay? That was an indication. Those are just some of the stories, and I'm telling you all this so that as you're trying to unravel, these could be early signs that you're dealing with people who lack emotional intelligence or maturity and self-awareness. And why is it dangerous? Why is it a must-have? Because when they don't have it, this is why it's a problem. If you try to have an adult conversations with these people, they're going to gaslight you. They're going to Darvo effect. They're going to deflect, blame shift. Okay? They're going to twist it. They're going to feel like you addressing an issue is an onslaught attack versus addressing an issue. In situations when you're dealing with this, it's not a matter of the conversation. It's the lack of that self-awareness and intelligence that makes conversation a problem. And lasting, changing results. Okay, you'll be dealing with people who are unnecessarily, secretly, overly competitive with you. These are people who may lack, understanding about boundaries. Like I said, they feel entitled to use people's social security numbers and all of that. when you stand up for yourself or you voice how you feel in a situation with people that lack emotional intelligence, they feel like it's an attack, an assault, and you're going to get backlash from these type of people. They're going to be vindictive and vengeful, pretending to not be so, but will do these things behind the scene because they're upset that you spoke. Okay? And when you have emotional maturity and intelligence, you understand that people speaking up for themselves or voicing to us, that's not necessarily an onslaught attack on our personality or on our character. It's them addressing an issue. And it depends on how they do that, of course. But when people lack it, it wouldn't matter if you sounded like a squeaky mouse. It wouldn't matter. They would still perceive it, okay, as such. And like I said, those are some of the smaller, minute signs, okay, that's what you could be dealing with. And it is a must. Nothing affects us. Nothing affects us like our inner circle. And if you're the only one with, you will be the one drained and weighted down. I was talking about earlier on the live that didn't record about how people can easily, when it comes to the physicality, if there's somebody financially carrying the weight in a situation, that's something people can easily go, it's all on me. I'm the one working. I'm the one paying the bills. I'm the one that's got to sit up and worry, blase, blase. This is a financial strain. This is a financial strain. It's easy for people to associate with that, but it's not so easy for people to pick up on, okay, you're dealing with emotional immaturity and lacking of self-awareness. This is going to be a problem all around. What's the matter? You want your brother? What's your matter? You want your brother to open the door? What's your matter, huh? He want his brother to open his door. Yes, and do. Huh? You want the brother? It's okay. You're okay. What's your matter? Okay. There he is. It's okay. I'm okay. You're okay. Huh, Cyrus? It's okay. It's a good boy. Yes, it is. Okay. Okay, so they're not going to be aware. You know, if you're dealing with that, people aren't going to be aware like, hey, this is abusive. Maybe I'm a little abusive. Maybe I was dismissive. You have to be emotionally intelligent and self-aware to even later to catch it, because none of us do this perfectly. But even to be able to, with the self-reflect, have it come, you have to have a level of that there. It has to be there. It has to be there. And if it's not, your life is going to be a living nightmare. Because you're compensating. You're always compensating for the lack. Okay? And that's a problem, because people who lack emotional intelligence and maturity love people who overcompensate. People who do, and as a result, they overcompensate for that. You know how, like, if you stump your toe or if you break your toe, or if there's a certain part of the body that's compromised, and how the rest of the body will then automatically shift to compensate for that in order to bring the balance. That's what emotional mature people do until they realize that that's being exploited. And that's what brings the exhaustion, because you're making concessions, you're making excuses, you're blinking. Oh, that's just how they are. Oh, da 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 da. So you're having to put yourself on the back burner. You're having to over communicate, over explain, even when you shouldn't be needing to. You're having to accept, insults and stuff like that, things that hurt you, things that are not fair to you, things that are wrong, because you're saying, oh, well, they just don't, that's just, they're just blunt. They're just blunt. They're just, okay. There's a thin line between just being sarcastic and blunt to emotionally unintelligent, okay, immature and lacking of self-awareness. And many of us, the culture, a lot of it is culture. We come up that way. So to us, until we know differently, that is normal. We can be in something that's actually abuse and abusive, but since it's not something that is looked at that way by that person, do you see where I'm going? Withholding, ghosting. And by the way, ghosting and going no contact are different. Ghosting is done out of manipulation, selfishness, insensitivity, avoidance, sometimes control, punishment, to get somebody in line. Going no contact is a survivor self-preserving themselves from abuse, preserving their mental, emotional, physical health. And it's not a game, and it's not to gain control over another. It's to gain control over themselves and their own life. Different frequency, different vibration, different motivation. Often the going no contact is out of emotional intelligence, realizing that you're not dealing with that. And if you're not dealing with that, you can't problem solve and conflict resolve with somebody. Hear me and hear me good. You cannot conflict resolve properly and problem solve properly with a group, with a person, with a community who lacks emotional intelligence and self-awareness. It's not going to work. Because as far as they're concerned, it's just, you're hitting a brick wall there. You're speaking foreign language. People think communication is the key, and financial. Everybody has their things, right? And to each his own. There are some that's looking for material stability to determine a make or break of connections, and that's fine. Others of us, we're like, give me emotional intelligence and self-awareness. Because what's happening with some of the people who prized the material realm as a guide, material security, which is nothing wrong with that, then they go for the gold. This person has this degree. This person comes from this stock. This person makes this so-and-so amount of money. This person has been in a career. This person has a piece of property. This person, okay, so it's checking off all the boxes. And they get that, but then they only later discover, but this person does not have emotional intelligence. Good gravy God. This person is not self-aware at all. This is a nightmare. Anything shy of something to do with money, this is a fucking nightmare. And in some cases, even as it pertains to money, because if there's a lack of that emotional maturity, depending on their personality, they're going to be highly manipulative with that, or very dictative and controlling. It's a must. All parties involved, we don't have to be alike, but all parties involved need to have that for a thriving relationship. We're talking friendships, familyship, and romantic partners. Because how do you problem solve in situations where that's lacking, in situations where it's just one person? That one person is always compensating for the ignorance. Just like the people who get tired of feeling like they always bailing out somebody financially, just like the people who feel like, the folks who got money and they feel like they're always carrying the weight financially of people, and they feel like they get tired of that and that gets old. Well, likewise, and even more so, because that emotional stuff goes across the board of everything. You can't even have a good conversation. The example that I just shared with y'all that I went through is like just living life and normal things turn into petty shit. Because you can't even just enjoy life and enjoy a person, because it gets weird. It's hard for people that are emotionally mature to just be. This is something that I'm figuring out. That's hard. They can't have a conversation without turning it into them and turning it into a competition, or trying to figure out how they can one-up you. Nobody don't want no relationship with somebody like that. They can't enjoy you without feeling like they're losing something. That's very sad. Emotional intelligence, self-awareness. That's the bread and butter, in my humble opinion. Okay, that's the bread and butter of a thriving, because we're not perfect. We are gonna make mistakes. We are vastly different. We will have situations come up. We're not gonna do everything perfectly right or left, up, down, or correct. And so that's why I say what I say, because of the fact that we're not perfect. Somebody's gonna catch where I'm going with this one day, because we're not. Emotional intelligence is important. Because then you can work through things. You can work through it in a healthier manner. When you're wrong, when I'm wrong, you can work through it. Yes? And, please take this with a grain of salt. Apply wisdom. Factor in all variables that you can factor in, age, all those things. Our inner circle. But see, that matters, because those are the ones that have the power to hurt you, truly. The people that you're letting in your inner sanctum. It's not the person that you ran into at Stater Brothers. Okay? It's It's the people that we are choosing to be close, sharing our vulnerabilities with, sharing our lives on some level. Am I saying that the emotionally intelligent or mature, self-aware people are flawless? Absolutely not. If that's what you're hearing from what I'm saying, then you're missing the point. You're not paying attention then. Okay? Healthy problem solve, but you got to have the healthy mind. Ironically enough, the behavioral health place I used to work at was called Healthy Minds. And I remember making a joke before I left, and I was like, unhealthy. Because it's an assumption that you go into these places, you know, man, humanity is fascinating. There's an assumption, you know, that surely you're a doctor, you have a healthy mind. Surely you're a therapist, surely you're an administrator, you have a healthy mind. Because you passed a test, you went to school, you got a degree. Okay. I done seen some shit. It's like, people have issues. Often they hide behind those very things because of it. So anywho, all we can really do is give full intention to lean more into feeling into things and not just relying on the surface. Because again, if I were to look back and anybody else were to look back at that on the outskirts, you know, it looked like this person had it together, they had money, so at least it seemed, you know, people didn't know that they had all these other troubles. Yes, you see what I'm saying? And so you never would go there. You'd never think like this person is a stalker, like this person is obsessed with their own, like they're obsessed. And that's not normal. To be obsessed with your own family members and in weird ways and stuff, that's ain't nothing normal about that. It's not normal. Not healthy, rather. I should change it. There's nothing healthy about that. Also, emotional intelligence, self-awareness is important because as we're evaluating people, especially on the romantic side of this thing, and then their connections, because again, there's nothing like the inner circle. And so if they lack it and their people lack it, and then you're basically bringing baggage. And the kind of baggage, we all got some baggage, right? But if there's a lack of emotional intelligence, you're up shit's creek before you get started. Because they ain't gonna never perceive themselves as the issue. It's always gonna be everyone else. That's the problem with lack of self-awareness. It's always everyone else. And you essentially are going to be bringing that on when you get into these romantic connections with people. See how it can spread? And see how it's much bigger than it appears? Yet, humanity, we do have our tendencies to highlight the more tangible shit, financial. But it's like, if you should, you done fucked around and you done got yourself in a relationship and this motherfucker and you know, and emotional intelligence and you're not self-aware and ain't people like that. Oh, your life is over, nigga. You done. You're done. It's over. You done. Your life is over. And you know what's a bad combination is people who lack it but got money. That's a bad combination. They gonna give you sheer hell. Oh, they gonna make your life. Let me tell you something. It's gonna be bad. Whew. Because ain't nothing worse than a tyrant with toys. Ain't nothing worse than an emotionally unintelligent, lacking self-aware person or group that's got power, money, and resources. Because their personality and the lack thereof is going to bleed through what they do with all of that, how they use all that. Child. Anywho, let me wrap this up. I gotta do some more clearings here. I'm doing a couple new things. I'm trying some new shiznit. Up until me and my son is out of Texas, there's some things I'm trying to kick in 2 times. I'm like, well, we gonna rock with this until we the fuck up about about it. This crazy, weirdy shit. Okay. So now I'm gonna flip the script real quick. First and foremost, I don't consent to no karmic bullshit at any juncture whatsoever. I ain't talking to you, and I do not consent to none of your shit. Delete, cancel, delete, destroy, create. You're done. Poof. To the legit motherfuckers in which I'm actually addressing. What we're going to do here, whenever you see this, my teachings, the readings, they're timeless. I myself had to learn this painfully. Okay? They're timeless. It depends on where you're at in the timeline, what juncture, okay, if this is for you. So, let me clear really quick. I'm just gonna do some sound. Okay. That's a Tibetan singing bowl. That one is for the solar plexus. Okay. Okay. So let's pick up on an energy collective. The individuals that lacked the emotional intelligence, self-awareness, that continue to take very baneful actions towards you because of it. Okay? Repetitively, you know, baneful actions repetitively, whether it was word, deed, thought, action, but repetitively enacting on all of those things that came from the lack of emotional intelligence and the lack of self-awareness, we'll tap into and what's happening to them. Just like people don't see all of those types of things behind the scene, right? These are things that are not easily detected, but it's there. You know it, you've experienced it, as is consequences. We think that it's like everything else in life. Just like that stuff be behind the scene, so does some of their consequences. Just like they put on airs in terms of they pretended to not be what they were and what you knew they were, they'll do the same thing pertaining to life as well when they're getting consequences. So let's go ahead and just, let's see. Somebody gonna say, well, you know, consequences. Yeah, consequences, because we're talking about people that repetitively. This is not an isolated event. We're talking folks, groups, communities, cults, covens, churches, organizations. It doesn't matter. Families that repetitively. Okay, so once again, this wasn't they just did this one thing. No, they repetitively did something. Okay, or repetitively convinced people too, because some people, you know, they yeah, they like to try to keep their hands clean. So if the shit, you know, shit go down, they ain't the ones that gotta take their whole ass to jail. You know what I'm saying? In some cases, like, they ain't gonna see my shit on you. I send dum oh, you know, I got them riled up to do my bidding. Like, here we go. And then they'll play stupid. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. So let's see really quickly, because they've been doing stuff repetitively. You knew something happened today for somebody. Today, oh boy. I'm not doing this. Oh, shit. Oversoul, highest inner self, the vine, line of light, source in me. Soulmate, similar friendship, romantic partner. What happened? Offer on the table. Somebody made an offer, or something to do with an offer. I got to get some layers to see what happened. Offer, proposal, commitment. Interesting. Love is in reverse. On the table, tragedy, forbidden love, reverse, trash, reverse, soulmate, love, reverse. I'm going to get some layers to see what happened. Pretending, somebody pretending. Okay, money must be funny. Living beyond means in a situation where there's no love, or pretending to not love someone and talk, conversation, get on the same page. Drama queen is in the reverse. Uh-oh. And crushed, sad, broken, feeling alone is in the upright. These are the individuals. What is this about? What is this about? Okay, this fell on top of her. Blocked intuition. Oh, somebody's going through a wake-up call. Keep going through the same thing. Wake-up call. Break the cycle. Somebody could be trying to act like they want to change. There's frustration here. Having a baby keeps coming out. Or maybe somebody that's got a kid with somebody if they're not currently having a baby. Or somebody, people always claiming pregnancy. So that's baby trap. What do we have here? Classic move, especially in certain places. Watching you. It says spying on you. What's new? Spying on you, being sneaky, trying to see. Single fire sign. Social media. No one cares. Let's see. Runner. Somebody running. Ooh, a secret came out. It says, when I catch feelings, I run. And then secrets in the reverse. For some of you collective, people can't find no dirt on you. You know, they can't, they need to stop trying. And it be people with the most skeletons in their closet just got the nerve to be doing that. Somebody did not follow their intuition in this situation. Somebody could have been asking somebody to stop trying to cause problems. That they need to stop. Maybe somebody gave a different offer. If there was an offer before to cause something, maybe somebody gave another offer to stop it. Because, Jesus Christ, powerless. They feel powerless. Somebody feeling powerless in this situation here. Or to stop trying to cause somebody anxiety. What is this? Summertime in the reverse. You're special. There's the obsession. I was waiting for it. Watching you. Obsession. These people were not, sympathy is in the reverse. Home, reverse. A new home or moving in together. Let's make it official in the reverse. Uh-oh. Well, what happened? What happened? So in Karmicville, it looks like there may be some ignoring going on in Karmicville. Something to do with an offer, a proposal, a commitment, but there's no love here. It's fake living beyond means. Somebody maybe had a conversation like, I wish I would have followed my intuition because I didn't. Or, child. I wish I would have followed my intuition because maybe somebody talked to somebody and they do word magic and shit, fucked up. intuition. Because it's like the one, oh my God, they didn't follow their intuition. The one that somebody thought was the drama queen was not the drama queen. Somebody may want to talk to you, divine, should I say, empowered, honorable feminine. Somebody may want to talk to you. This keeps coming out. This could be either a baby mama or about a mother of their children, or somebody that's pregnant. They got somebody pregnant or thought somebody was pregnant. Shit. And now they're overworked. Working, it says, working too hard, too much, stretching them. Yeah, they working the hell out of this. This is shit. Unfinished business. Here we go. Money issues. Now somebody's, in Karmicville, there's some unfinished business, money issues. This could have been somebody who got into something, gave somebody a second chance that they wish they hadn't. Maybe they want some kind of second chance with you, but they can't. Yeah, being a player. Good gravy, God. It says player here. Play on, play it. Play on it. Oh, addictions is in the reverse. Okay, so this is somebody. Oof. Okay. Addictions is in the reverse. Somebody is no longer addicted maybe to a situation in person, or trying to get over their addictions and want another chance with a feminine possibly here, but stuck. Something is trash. See, these are possibly people that's obsessed and watching you, because remember, we're talking about the folks who repetitively do shit. It says watching you hoovering, obsessed. Maybe because there's ignoring and fights in the camp. And so this is ample. Oh, gravy. Lack of emotional intimacy. That's the theme of the read. Karma is here. Boom. I was waiting for it. There it is. Karma. Why me? Good or bad karma, karmic cycle, justice will be served. And on that, let's go ahead and get the tarot and get their emotions of what's happening. And I just picked up the deck at 10 of Swords. Good gravy, God. Harsh, painful endings, multiple knives and betrayals, possibly 10 months, 10 years, 10 weeks, 10 seasons, 10 offenses. Okay, what kind of karmic retribution is happening with these people that they could be very well trying to hide? What's actually happening? Truth. Light, let there be light, and there is light. What's happening? Oof. Why is the major arcana is their lead coming out in reverse? Card number 20, judgment, is in the reverse. Poor judgment. They're under some kind of judgment, unforgivable. No more chances. This is for trying to hold on to something, or misjudging or criticizing, or whatever they've done here. Yeah, these illusions. 7 of Cups. Options, entertaining options, procrastinating, poisoning, illusions, delusion. They don't know what to do. They're sitting here worried about, because they lied. Ace of Swords is in the reverse. That's confusion. They're trying to figure out, they're trying to lie. They're trying to figure out. how to do a compassion spell or just obscure someone's judgment on a thing to hide the truth. They're going through it. What happened here? They could be sick or feeling like weak right now because I'm getting strength coming in the reverse. They can... Ace of Wands is in the reverse. 10 of Cups is in the reverse. And they, whoever they are, they hiding it though. They hiding it. But this is showing what's actually going on within their family. They could be getting bad news. Somebody could be sick. Somebody may even with judgment. Somebody could be even possibly going to go to jail. Or they could be, if they're sick, they don't know what they're going to do about it. These are people that kept trying to poison you, I promise. They kept either trying to poison you, they kept trying to make you sick, they kept trying to create bad news for you, they kept trying to create unhappiness for you, they kept trying to break your resolve with all their shenanigans here. They're unhappy. Now the Wheel of Fortune is out. I wonder why they're unhappy though. Oh, because maybe honor is coming through. 5 of Swords in reverse. They are not going to be able to play this game. They're not going to be able to like triangulate and steal and gaslight and fast talk. Okay, because that's in the reverse. Wheel of Fortune. Because why are they upset? Well, they don't have a defense. Something's popping back. Something with family, the home, marriage. People are selling away. 6 of Swords. Or somebody... yeah, that's a breakup or a disruption. I have the Lovers coming in the reverse. Partnerships, 6 of Pentacles, and 3 of Wands in the reverse. They did not plan on this. Or maybe their gravy train is over or some shit like that. That they can just take from and it's on their duff. They're hiding this as something, and I just saw the sun. Yep. There it is. It's fights, it's arguments, it's legal issues, possible legal issues, fights. A lot of codependency here, or somebody that's very codependent. 9 of Pentacles is in the reverse. Something that's just not satisfying. It did not. The cost outweighed the benefits. There's a cost to benefit ratio in accounting. They teach you. I can't remember if it was accounting 1 and 2, because that was 1,000 years ago when I was in college. But it's an actual formula, that they use. And so I like to use that as an analogy. And I'll be saying that people need to be doing a cost to benefit ratio, niggas. Yeah, because sometimes things be sound exciting until, you know what I'm saying? It's like, okay. I have the King of Wands coming out in the reverse. This is a fight. This is an argument. This is somebody lacking courage. This could be a bully. They may give somebody, oh my God. This could be what's going on behind the scene that none of you all will know, because again, gotta put on a show. And here's the Queen of Wands in the upright. Very interesting. I wonder who that represents. Could we get something on the Queen of Wands so I can see if this is karmic? I want to know if this is one of the karmic players in here or if this is honorable feminine. Give me something on the Queen of Wands. Might be you, honorable feminine, that's getting some kind of good news. You're coming out of healing and recovery. You're not wounded. Um, you ain't crazy. Oh, this could be because all the shit, you know, it ain't doing what it's supposed to be doing. And so some of this shit is ricocheting. It's ricocheting. Or maybe, now we got the King of Cups coming out in the upright. What the hell is happening here? We have the King of Cups and the King of Pentacles and shit. This could represent emotional maturity too. So even if this is about you, honorable feminine, it's like the reading is about emotional intelligence, right? Emotional maturity, self-awareness, okay? Then this is you operating in both, you know, you're a warrior, you're a Queen of Wands, bitch, and then you're also the King of Cups, because you have emotional maturity. You're not going to just be the soft side of the cups, Queen of Cups, which is very loving, very nurturing, all of those things, very sensitive, intuitive, okay? But sometimes, until she works through things, this is exploited about her. So the emotional intelligence for you is like, sometimes you gotta know, you gotta like, wait a minute, what the hell is going on here? Okay, people, what the fuck? Huh? Give me something on this King of Cups since he came out so I can see what that really is. He's in the upright. Why is he here? This might be your son. You know what I'm saying? Your son. Who is this King of Cups? Interesting. Got an ace. Okay, interesting. Five of Pentacles in the reverse, Ace of Cups. Okay, again, feminine, if this is still about you, you're definitely in self-love and, you know, positive mindset, attitude. You're not feeling left out. You're not feeling negative. You're coming out of whatever healing and recovery and whatever fuckery here. Love offer. What people did in the past. There it is. Six of Cups. What they did for money. Selfishness. Now they're experiencing some kind of blockages. They hid the fact that they were juggling. Maybe this is something that these people are, their past did to them. Oh boy. Oh, there's karma. It came out again. There it is. Justice is in the reverse. Just like the karma card came out, whatever unjust shit, I'm telling you. Justice or her. Got Knight of Cups in reverse. What happened with the Justice reverse? Ooh. Because this was, yeah, something with the Pentacles, baby. Something with the Pentacles. With these niggas. Thieving, lying, hiding. The High Priestess, 8 of Wands. They finna go to jail. Or they finna go to jail. Because they was interfering and stealing. Somebody finna go to jail. For paying people to do whatever this is. Black magic. With the magician here in the reverse. Or the block manifestations and stuff. Put you on the blacklist. Whatever this shit is, I'm telling you. Corruption. This was foolish. This was foolish. To get some kind of new beginning for themselves. Some adventure. And to stop yours. Well, behind the scene, they're under judgment. Some of them may very well be fencing to face some jail time with this 8 of Swords here. Due to their addictions, their selfishness here, taking dirty offers to do shit, working with multiple people here to do so, utilizing childhood connections or friends or lovers and whatever this is here. Yeah, people could be walking away from some of these people, walking away from being loyal to these people because they could be finding out about all of this. People like, I don't want to do this no more. Not everybody, because some people are still stupid. Some people still stupid, pumpkin heads. Other ones is getting a little bit smarter. Like, nah, it ain't even. It's I don't want to for focus. No, thank you. Fuck that. I don't want it that bad. Shit. I don't even got a job. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I can walk to the store. I don't even need it. It's okay. It's not that deep for me to ruin my life like that. My life, my family, my whole get up on some. No, thank you, Deep State. No, thank you, Fusion. No, thank you, Corrupt Police. No, thank you. I'm good. So here's how they're really feeling about all this stuff that they're hiding, and that we're done. Whenever you do see this video, I honor those of y'all that come in good energy, okay? And hope that you are cleaning this shit out, navigating your way through all of this. I hope you give these motherfuckers hell. I hope you run this thing, because sometimes that's what it takes, unfortunately. On a collective scale, you all have tried the niceties. You've tried the amicable's and all of those things, and they take that as a sign of cowardly, weak. So sometimes it takes this, just as incessant as they are. You see what I'm saying? Relentless and incessant as they are. Sometimes we have to become. Okay. I mean, sue them out of their drawers if you can. Sue these motherfuckers out their damn drawers, nigga. Like, Your Honor, I want they draws. I want it all. They socks and draws. You know what I'm saying? For fucking with me. I want it all. This was a bad idea. I want what they supposed to have in their next life. No, shit, you like, it's like shit, fuck that, I'll do it, yeah, correct. I want it all. I want the socks and drawers. I want all of it, everything. I want every smile, every happy face. I want all of it. And then I want whatever they supposed to have in the next lifetime as well. Just go ahead and put that on my list. I'm just kidding. Kinda. What we got? How they truly feeling, not the airs that they're putting on. Not the airs, not the saving of face. Yeah, they're not happy. Joyful came in the reverse, which tells me they could be trying to act like they're joyful. Okay, angry. They could be trying to pretend like they're not angry. The way it felt, it came up right, but it fell on top of upset, mad, irritated, irate. They could be trying to act brave. They could be angry that how brave you are, collective. The bravery that you're just, that you're showing and displaying, but they could be trying to like cover that up. They can also be trying to act like they're not shocked or whatever about something. But they're actually frightened. Yeah. It says terrified, scared. Of course, they're not going to show that, though. That doesn't go with the bravado. That doesn't go with it. Tired and crabby. Because they invested so much. These people have whole investments on y'all. Like, this is insanity. Investment on trying to... It's sad. These people are sad. It's just sad. I have please going into the reverse. So discontented, scared. They could be trying to tune something out. Unhappy. They could be trying to tune out. If these are people who know something of you or watching you or getting some kind of news, they could be trying to tune out the fact that you are happy or you're coming out of whatever they tried to do, and they're a little bit nervous about it and infuriated. Yep. They're not feeling too silly no more, huh? Giddy is in the reverse, bored, upright. Okay. Well, there's a lot of emotions here, but, the way this goes is, people got to save face. They got to do what they got to do. But there's definitely things that are happening. And then, as I was stating before, what it came out in the original reading was pride. Atonement of errors is in the reverse 52. Somebody could be in their 50s. 7 could be significant. And a part of the lack of emotional intelligence is the failure to make proper atonement when you know you've wronged people terribly. That type of pride equals emotional unintelligence. lacking of emotional maturity and self-awareness, because it ain't just about cool catchphrases and wearing a cool outfit and putting up some signs and going through rigorous rituals and routines. And it's it's courage under fire, but it's also accountability, no matter your station in life, no matter your title, no matter your age, no matter whatever it is you think you have. The title, the status, and station does not exempt atonement. If you fraud and you wrong, you fucked over somebody, you did, just because you got a little few bucks and a little fancy schmancy something, it does not mean that that trumps you or anyone else from the responsibility of you wrong. And because the person that you've wronged, for all intensive purposes, has less than you, at least you think that, it doesn't mean that you don't owe it to them or they don't deserve it. But that very mindset is the tell and the giveaway that these individuals, no matter how fancy they look, that they do not have it. That they are NPCs, narcissistic personality characters. They don't have it. Because if they did, then they'll know that. They wouldn't need me or nobody else to say it. They know, okay, yeah, sure. I am the sheriff. Sure, I am, I have a business. And I come from wealth. And I am fine. You see me? Look at me. Ain't I fine? And I am, and you're wrong. Well, I'm older and you're olderly wrong. And you're wrong. See, our culture got us fucked bad. This shit booty ass backwards. If you're older, then you should be held to a higher accountability. If you have a big time title, you should be held to a higher accountability. Then, if because you got money and you fine and you got this building and that building and this, then that's you're trying to imply that you are all of that and intelligent. Then you then should be held to a higher accountability and responsibility to atone for when you're wrong. Well, I am a pillar of society. Great. Now show society, stop yapping, and show society that you know how to walk the talk you talk. That you apply it to you, not just waving your finger with your clipboard and your red ink pen.